Super cool. So satisfying, feeding with stripper clips. Oh, we got one. All right. Today we're taking another much needed break from AKs and any other semi-automatic gun to talk about a bolt action. More importantly, some military surplus bolt actions, which are honestly the best kind. And today, I think I found another very much slept on bolt gun that if you live in America makes all the sense in the world to own. Chat, I think I have found yet another weird and obscure military surplus bolt action that is really going to work if you're an American buyer. We made a video a little while back on the Spanish FR8. That is a 7.62 NATO, used to be an 8mm Mauser. That is now a very cool Spanish Mauser chambered in a round that we can all get that fit a very interesting role with its military. This gun has so much in common with that gun, it's crazy, although it is very different. And no, this is not a British Lee Enfield in 303. This is the Indian-produced Ishapore 2A1. Now, all Lee Enfields are chambered in 303 British. This gun is not. This was produced in India for the Indian military, purposefully chambered in 7.62 by 51. For you Americans out there, it's pretty much 308 there, brother. So how did this gun come to be? How is this a Lee Enfield not chambered in 303 British? Well, let me tell you. Many, many moons ago, the Indian Army used 303 British Enfields, all chambered in 303, and they were even produced at the Ishapore factory in India in 303 Brit. That was the service rifle for India around World War I and so on. But eventually, around 1950-ish, when the FAL came to be, the Indian Army decided they wanted to upgrade. They wanted to go to a brand new battle rifle, an auto-loading gun chambered in 7.62 by 51. The Indian Army quickly ran into the same problem that other countries have run into when they adopt a brand new gun and a brand new round. They either A, couldn't make them fast enough if they were producing their own to equip the full military, or they couldn't buy enough of them to equip the full military. So what the Indians did was go to their Ishapore factory and completely halt production on 303 British Enfields and completely from the ground up make an Enfield rifle chambered in 7.62 by 51 as a stopgap. That way, at least they would have more bolt action guns that they were already making chambered in the same round as the newly adopted FAL that they ended up calling the Ishapore 1A1. So what makes this gun very unique is it is not just a rebarreled, rechambered British 303 Enfield. It is a ground up built 7.62 Enfield. The barrels were made on purpose for that round. It even has unique iron sights specifically calibrated for 7.62 NATO. This is not a rechambered Enfield, which, contrary to belief, what a lot of people think they are not. All the metal parts on this gun were specifically made for 7.62. They can handle a round. The only thing that was really held over, to my knowledge, are the stocks. So when you find these things, the stocks can be pretty beat up. Those are all surplused, formerly mounted on guns chambered in 303. They didn't want to remake all the wood, so they destocked those guns, made their new rifled actions in 7.62, and slapped these number 3 surplus stocks on them, which is why when you find these things, the stocks look way worse than the metal parts. Typically, the guns are in very good condition and the bores are very nice and clean because, like a lot of other guns that were just made as a stopgap, they didn't get used super heavy. However, they did see quite a bit of use all the way from the early 60s to the late 70s, and that's about how long they produced these things. So we'll try to do that now. It's 5. That's 10. 12 rounds. Man, you can shoot all day. 12 rounds. The technique here is to actually pull with your middle finger, palm the bolt, middle finger on the trigger and you would shoot, cycle, shoot, cycle, shoot. I'm getting there, but that's the technique where you can really rock and roll with these things. I have seen dudes run Lee Enfield actions like a freaking AR-15, like super fast. So I will say, compared to other bolt guns, you could probably shoot these faster than just about anything else, for longer too. The one thing I find most interesting about this gun is what it has in common with my all-time favorite Milsurp, the Spanish FR8. We have a full video on this gun, but the Spanish FR8 filled a similar role. The Spanish, back in the 50s after World War II, inherited a bunch of Germans that were gun designers that ended up making the Setme C, which later became the HK91, the G3, but it's a very similar story and I explain it all in this video. So if you want to get all the details as to why the Spanish rechambered 8mm Mausers for 7.62, you can check out that video in the description below. But the brief rundown is, again, new battle rifle, new round, 7.62, couldn't make them fast enough, couldn't equip the armory fast enough, so they had all of these 8mm Mausers just laying around. So these were actually rechambered to 7.62, not completely rebuilt, just rechambered, and the stocks were cut down, the barrels were cut down, and they even put the same iron sights on this that you would find on the Setme C. This was used more so as like a trainer rifle, a stopgap, a rear echelon troop rifle for the Spaniards, and filled basically the exact same role as the Ishapore 2A1. These, however, are sometimes 2 times, if not more, the price when you find these on the open market. A lot of people know what these are now. They're really freaking cool. I love them. And yeah, brothers from another mother, man, doing the same job from 2 completely different countries. So we make a lot of gun content on this channel and I read a lot of comments, and lately a lot of the comments have been, every gun you film is way too expensive. And yeah, it's true, we do film some pretty expensive Gucci stuff on the channel from time to time. The gun that I want to show you today, I think, is a little bit of a life hack if you want to get into Milsurp and you want to actually shoot it. This gun in particular has one of the cheapest price point entry points that I know of, and shoots a very easy to find common round, because let's be honest, when you get into Milsurp, there are dozens and dozens, if not 100 different bolt action options from the turn of the century to around World War I. Every country seemed to be doing their own thing, and they all had obscure ammo selections, chamberings. So even some of the most desirable bolt actions, some surplus guns, shoot ammo that might not even be made anymore. And if you can find it, it's very expensive. So this gun right here, I purchased it recently, as of the filming of this video, for $500. Hey. Oh, we got one. All right. Let's try these baby ones. Okay.
Got it a bit closer.
The other one's still on there. I thought the other one was going to get rocked and fall off. Hey, 2 for 2, baby. If you keep missing, you know what I always say? Just get closer to the target. You'll hit it eventually. Nice. Cool. So again, the 2A1 is basically like an SMLE Mark III. So if you were to Google an image of a Lee Enfield SMLE Mark III, it's this shape. The stock is cut the same way, iron sights are similar, and this is basically what they robbed the stocks off of. So it is an SMLE Mark III stock on a newly produced barrel action. My stocks show some very cool character wear, big metal butt plate that really sucks to shoot prone or from like a stabilized seated position. Definitely more comfortable to shoot standing. There's that very familiar striking SMLE Lee Enfield action. Our rear iron sights and your nose cap with your bayonet mount and your front iron sight. So basically it kind of does Lee Enfield things. It does SMLA things. It gives you all the same looks, feelings, the warm and fuzzies. If you are into what some consider to be the Milsurp of all time. When I picture a military surplus rifle in my head, I think there's 2 that really come to mind. The Mauser action, like a K98 that the Germans used in World War II, and probably what might even be more popular, the Enfield, the SMLE. I have been playing a butt ton of Battlefield 1 lately. I think it's the greatest Battlefield of all time, and the SMLE is my all-time favorite. The SMLE Mark III Marksman that has the little dot on it. That is my favorite gun in that game. Love it. This is basically the same gun, only a slightly longer barrel. They have slightly shorter versions of these that seem to be exceedingly rare. The majority of these that you're gonna find have the full-length barrel. The shorties are cool. I've only found like one video on YouTube of a guy that has the RFI Ishapore 2A1 with the slightly shorter barrel, like a tanker version or a paratrooper. I know there's multiple names for it. I've never seen one in person, but there is one video on YouTube that I know of. So how do you spot one of these? What are some dead giveaways that this is the 7.62 NATO version? Well, a few key differences that you would have to know to notice before I give you the big one. Number one, the iron sights. These iron sights are a little different than an SMLE, and they are calibrated for 7.62. So you'll notice that these iron sights specifically go to 800 meters. I believe the 303s go out past 1,000, so these are calibrated for 800. The end cap and your front irons are a little different. They look a bit more crude compared to the British. They're straight. These two ears that actually protect your front sight post are straight. On an SMLE, they would be curved. They would have like a half moon shape going around your front sight post, so that's kind of a giveaway. And if you do notice here on the band that goes around your stock, it is going to be RFI stamped, meaning that this was arsenaled in India, and this is going to be one of the 7.62s. But the biggest giveaway with these is the magazine. So you'll notice this magazine has like 45-degree angle cuts in it. It's not rounded. If you look at a 303 British SMLE, the magazine is very much rounded. So if you were to set this next to a 303 chambered SMLE, the mags would be a dead giveaway. So from a distance, if you're like walking around at a gun show, which is where I found this one, and you see that angular, very squared off mag, you can bet that is a 7.62 version. And this is a later variant. So to my knowledge, a lot of these hold 10 rounds. Some of the laters hold 12. I got lucky. Mine is one of the 12-round mags. So yeah, I can top it off with two 5-round stripper clips, toss another 2 rounds in there, and have 12 freaking rounds out of a turn-of-the-century bolt-action Milsurp. That is extremely high capacity for something like this from that time, which is a huge bonus. While I've got the magazine out, you can just pop your mag out and load it one by one. It's very easy, super easy to do, but what's really cool is it has the means to take a stripper clip. This gun is still meant to be fed from clips, and had to do a little bit of research, and I found out that you can actually reliably feed this from M14 stripper clips. The only bummer is, as you can see, I'm literally dropping rounds. M14 stripper clips are usually extremely wore out. However, if you find some good ones, save them, and you can have really nice 5-round stripper clips that feed extremely easy into this gun, as you can see there. Very easy. And not only that, this gun has a detachable box magazine that you can top off before you start shooting, and as you're shooting, you can continue to top off with stripper clips. And another very interesting thing about these Ishapore 2A1s is they have 2 sets of lips to retain rounds. Sometimes those have to be tuned. The shooting we've done so far, this one seems to be tuned up by the last gentleman that owned it, so I haven't had any feeding issues. So, like I say, you could just have the mag out in your hand and go ahead and get it preloaded. Straight push. Good to go. Put your safety on. And then from here on out, you could keep topping it off with stripper clips. So, let's go ahead and ring a little bit of steel at 100. Oh, yeah. Freaking bee stung my palm. It's so hard to work this thing. Yeah. Super cool. So in my opinion, this gun has 3 massive bonuses over all other Milsurp out there if you live in America. And a lot of this carries over to the Spanish FR8. It's a lot of the same thing we talked about in that video. Number one, it is a freaking awesome SMLE. This is an SMLE, dude, and I dare you to find a better looking, more well-known bolt gun from World War I and World War II. This is probably as cool as it gets. So the cool factor is there. You're getting an aesthetically pleasing, historically relevant Milsurp. Number two, it does not shoot 303 British, which is sometimes hard to find, very expensive whenever you find it. So again, if you're a shooter like me, hard to enjoy those unless you spend a ton of money shooting them all the time. The ammo is not cheap at all. 7.62 NATO, I can find this stuff for 50 cents a round. Surplus can maybe be found cheaper, so it is substantially cheaper to shoot. You can run 308 through it, I have. I don't know if that's safe or not, but I've had great luck running 308. But I've been putting more 7.62 NATO through it, and it's been great. So the ammo is available. In this country, will always be available, and it's cheap. Number three is the price of the gun. These guns, believe it or not, as cool as they are, as much sense as they make to own, are way cheaper than British 303 chambered SMLEs. Crazy, right? I paid $500 for this. British 303s, depending on the variant that you buy, can be twice, sometimes 3 times the price as this gun. And they're way more expensive to shoot. Granted, I guess they hold more value, but I am willing to bet that one day, like the Spanish FR8, which used to be 350 chicken nuggies up to like 500 chicken nuggies at most, when I found mine, I think I paid like 650 chicken nuggies back in the day. I see these things selling for 12 now, regularly, and people are buying them at that price. I feel like this gun will have the exact same growth in value over time once people really start to realize they're out there and they're cheap to shoot and everything else gets more expensive. It's not like I'm letting out an industry secret here. You'll find dozens and dozens of videos on the 2A1 all over YouTube, so it's not like they're completely unknown. Somehow they've stayed extremely cheap, which is why in this video I can honestly say best bang for your buck when it comes to surplus. If you want to shoot it, I don't know of a better option than the Ishapore 2A1 and 7.62 NATO. And it has been freaking flawless for me. And whoever owned it before me zeroed it good enough, and we were able to get rounds on paper at 100 yards. We were able to hit steel at 100 yards. Cool. If you were wondering, that is not a field mod. That is Davrinoff leather wrap. That is actual leather with a sticky back on it, and you can actually wrap anything you want with it. It stayed on. It's been on this gun for weeks. It's handled a lot of abuse. Got to give a huge shout out to Davrinoff, dude. Always coming out with cool stuff. Looks way better than goon tape on an old Milsurp. And if I told someone I bought it like that, it's always been on there, I think some people would believe me. Pretty cool mod. And that is what makes the Enfield so badass. If you get it right, even that was super clunky. I know Connor's probably watching the video, the dude that talked me into buying this. I know that's slow, but a bee stung me in the palm and it's a little painful right now. But yeah, you just can't really do that easily with a Mauser action unless the bolt is swept down. It really makes it so easy. Pretty cool. I could really see how at one time this, if you had to pick something back around like turn of the century, World War I, this would be a really good choice to shoot quickly, to have round count, be able to detach mags. Now I assume, I don't know, that back then they weren't issued with multiple mags. I think every gun was sent with one mag and you were meant to load with stripper clips. But if you did find a couple mags and they were all tuned to your gun, you could continue to top it off with mags, which is pretty cool. Not a lot of turn of the century surplus can do that. Pretty cool. Anyway, guys, I could shoot this thing all day and wear my freaking palms out, but I think I'll leave you with this, man. There are still very cheap ways to enjoy firearms. You don't have to go out and spend 2, 3, 4 grand on the new hotness. There's so much cool surplus out there that even right now, you can still find things like this at 500 bucks. M14 clips, I think I spent 40 bucks and got like 50 of them. They were almost $2 a piece. Cull the ones that don't work, keep the ones that are good. You could have like 30 stripper clips for this thing, maybe even find a couple of mags. Even the mags are available. Saw them on Apex not too long ago. Sporterize it with a cool bayonet, some leather wrap. And dude, I mean, this gun right here, like I say, I got 500 bucks in it. and it's just badass. So, for instance, this weekend I bring a fleet of guns out. We're out here launching rifle grenades. I've got carbon fiber on some AKs. When I pulled this out, this is the gun everyone wanted to shoot, and everyone was like, whoa, it's chambered in 7.62. Yeah, there's just something special about a cool old gun where you can actually find the ammo and afford it and shoot it. You can shoot this gun for another 100 years. You are not going to hurt it. It's just cool. Really freaking cool. And for those of you that are trying to LARP and shoot some of these old retro matches, you don't have to run 303 and break the bank to get through the match. You can run 7.62 and it's close enough. That's honestly all I have for you on the Ishapore. So again, that is 2 military surplus guns that shoot 7.62 that I think are 2 of the coolest Milsurps to own for people that actually want to shoot, that live in America, that have access to 7.62. Yeah, man. I think the FR8 is a little better because it's way lighter. It doesn't seem to kick like a mule. This thing has a substantial recoil and they shoot the same round. And it has threads, so I can actually suppress that thing. You're not going to suppress this, but it's whatever. It already weighs enough. However, this has over twice the capacity, is over twice as cheap, which is awesome. And I do kind of like that the stock has so much character wear. Most of the FR8s, if not all the FR8s that you're going to find, are like pretty minty in my experience because they weren't really used that much. The stocks on these could probably tell some stories. They have been around the block, have been to many fronts, I'm sure. So it definitely has a lot of historical value just to the stock if you're into that kind of thing. Anyway, believe it or not, a super cheap gun on a channel that kind of gets criticized for only filming expensive AKs. But there you go, man. 500 chicken nuggets, bucket of fun at that price. Can't say enough good about it. And these things, there seems to be no shortage of them. They keep popping up everywhere. So yeah. Go out and get you one. I'm shilling for Milsurp. Somehow that's not frowned upon. Okay. And hey, if you like what we do here and you want to support us, don't give me your money on Patreon because I don't have one, and I'm not going to read paid ad reads for ball sack razors. I don't really believe in that, so you don't have to sit through it. If you do want to help out the channel, I actually sell merch that we design, we hand package, we own the company. This is not some third-party brand I'm shilling for. It's our merch brand. thirdpinthreads.com. We're always doing some really cool AK, sometimes AR-15 stuff. Maybe we'll start doing some Milsurp stuff. And our artist is so talented, Paul, out of Austin, Texas, from Red Stag Tattoos. Go by the shop, tell him I said you're awesome. He's doing all the artwork and the stuff's great, man. That's really the only way to support this channel, and you get something for your cash, and I'm not just begging you for money. The other way is to go to Kalash Bash, dude. Kalash Bash is right around the corner in April, depending on when this video comes out. We have a huge event planned for you this year. If tickets are on sale, then I'll put the link down below. It is the largest AK event in the country, one of the largest gun events in the country, and trust me, you fit in. Don't worry about going alone. Don't worry about, I don't know anyone there. Ask anyone that's ever been. You'll make lifelong friends. It is that freaking special of a thing. Drop what you're doing, go to Kalash Bash, have the freaking time of your lives. All right, that's all I have for you. The Ishapore 2A1 is a badass, cheap, sexy Milsurp rifle that you can afford to shoot, and you're not gonna hurt the damn thing. All right, that's all I have for you guys. I appreciate you watching. Let me know down in the comments below what your favorite Milsurp gun is, be it too expensive to shoot or not expensive to shoot. What's your go-to Milsurp bolt gun? I think we all have one in our head that we truly do like, or maybe one that we want to find. Anyway, that's all I have. Love you, bye. The handle. And that's what's up.